Today I am planning to explain this story. This is the story of Jim. This story is all about Jim, who was a very poor orphan. Orphan means a child who has lost both parents or one of their parents is called orphan. Here this boy, uh, he doesn't have parents because they are died. Orphan means when kid has parents, they usually take care of their kids. But since he lost his parents, they are died some reasons, he has become orphan. Nobody is there to look after this boy Jim. He was an 11-year-old boy. How old was he? What is the age of this boy? This boy age was 11 years. He earned a living by polishing people's shoes. This job he was doing, polishing people's shoes. This work that Jim does for a living, for to buy things, for living, he does this job. To live someone needs to do some job. So this boy worked as a polishing people's shoe. This work he does. Earned a living means to earn money needed for the food, shelter or clothing where we need to fulfill our basic needs. That is where someone has to do some job. Someone needs to do some work to living in life. We need some basic requirements. Jim barely earned enough to buy 1 square meal a day. It means just one meal that he was getting from his earning. Almost no, or just one meal, just one balanced food that he eats every day. So his earning was not more than buying just one meal that he will able to get from his earning doing this job, polishing people's shoes. From that job he just buys one meal per day. One winter night when it grew cold outside, an old lady knocked on Jim's door. During one winter night, what happened? It was cold outside. When it grow cold outside means heavy cold than normal. So during that time, what happened? An old lady knocked on Jim's door. At that time, an old lady knocked. Knocked means closing our hand. With fist we make sound. Knocked means with index finger. We usually use index finger. With whole hand, with index finger usually makes knock sound. So here this lady knocked on Jim's door. When Jim opened the door, she requested him to give her some food. When Jim opened his door that time, she asked him politely that she wanted some food. So she asked him to give her some food. She had not eaten for days and she looked very weak too. Since this old lady hasn't eaten her food for days, more than 2 days, since she has not eaten her food for days, she looked very weak, fragile, not sturdy. When people don't eat food for days, so they will look they will look weak, unable to do any work after starving, after without food or anything. People cannot cannot stay longer. So she looked very weak. Jim had just one loaf of bread. One loaf of bread means with his hand there is one loaf of bread. This is called as one loaf of bread, this whole bread. It contains 20 or 24 pieces. So we used to ask 1 pound bread, but here one loaf of bread, this whole bread only that he had now. That bread he was about to eat for dinner. He just had one loaf of bread that he was going to eat for his dinner. He hadn't eaten anything the whole day. Even this boy Jim, who was also food from morning, he hadn't eaten anything the whole day. Even this boy Jim, he didn't, even this boy Jim, who didn't have his food from morning to till night. Whole day means from morning to that night. Till that time he is not eaten. He was not anything. So from morning to till night he didn't have any food. Looking at the old lady, he thought that she needed the bread more than he did. Seeing that old lady, he concerned about that old lady. Then he thought she needed more than him. Since she is an old lady, he thought himself she will need this bread more than he does. He willingly gave her the bread. What happened next? After he thought that, after thought of about old lady that she didn't eat food for days, so he thought himself she needed more than him. Thinking like that, he gave her the bread. He decided to give bread to her. He gave her the bread. So he decided to give that bread. As soon as the old lady ate the bread, she transformed into a fairy. When this old lady eaten this bread, soon after she became fairy. She turned into a fairy. Fairy means who has magical powers. With that power, they can able to give gifts or fulfill someone wishes. So happy with Jim for being such a good boy that she blessed him with lots of food and riches. So Jim, he was very good boy. Seeing his kindness, she felt happy and she blessed him with lots of food and riches. When she turned, after eating bread, she turned into a fairy, and seeing that, when she saw his kindness, she got happy and she blessed him. She blessed him with lots of food and riches. She made him to become rich with her power, with her magical power. She made him to become rich. Now this boy has a lot of food, lots of food, and since he has got rich, he has become rich with the blessing of fairy. He doesn't need to do any work. Now Jim has become rich with lots of food so that he can lead a luxurious life. So he has lots of money and food. No need to starve for hunger. No need for starving food because he has blessed with lots of food and riches. He is wealthy boy now. He has become wealthy boy. Never went hungry. Since then, Jim never went hungry after that day. After he had got blessing from fairy with lots of food and riches, money. So he has never gone hungry. Since then, he has never gone starving for the food, as he has lots of food and money, so that he doesn't need to stay hungry anymore. The moral of this story: good deeds don't go unrewarded. What is the moral of this story? When someone has this kindness, helping nature to help others, so things will never go waste. When someone does good things with someone's kindness, so definitely they would get something in return. So it will never go waste. When good things with his kindness, he always deserves to have some rewards. So definitely when someone helps others without any expectation, sometime definitely they would get pay. In return, they would get something. That is the moral of this story. So this boy, Jim, he didn't expect. He helped this old lady when she requested him to give food. He had given his bread to her, even though he is not eaten for whole day. His kindness made this old lady to blessed him with lots of food and money. So when someone does without expectation, in return they would get some rewards. Without fail, they would get some prize that what they have done to others. So he rewarded for his help. He rewarded with lot of wealth. So this is the moral of this story. I hope you understand this story. Thank you. Bye for now.